So it's a little short and bittersweet today with this video, and I want to talk about an Australian-based site named STEVIVOR. And I have to say, I'm not the only one who finds this media outlet more than a little sus. So you may or may not know the PlayStation 5 exclusive Ghostwire Tokyo review embargo was lifted earlier today, and STEVIVOR were one of many submitting reviews which now appear on Metacritic, with the game sitting on a 70+ Metascore at the time of this video recording. And of course that number isn't final and could fluctuate for better or for worse, but STEVIVOR, now blacklisted by Sony PlayStation, meaning they do not receive review copies, as I imagine someone at Sony deemed the site biased towards Microsoft and Xbox in its conclusions. I actually think Sony and many others are absolutely bang on about STEVIVOR. Let's look at its inconsistency and discrepancies when reviewing PlayStation versus Xbox games, and you begin to see a reoccurring theme. A pattern begins to emerge in that STEVIVOR may actually be a shill for Microsoft, either on its payroll or not, though it has to be incredibly stupid if it is not profiting from its incredibly transparent tactics. That is to critically acclaim even the most middling of Xbox content and downplay the high quality and, need I say, efforts of PlayStation Studios development team's excellence in producing great IP. Now the irony is, after scoring even the most universally acclaimed PS5 titles extremely low, it gives a super high score to Ghostwire Tokyo when every other credible review site is scoring the game in the 7 out of 10 region or 70+ out of 100, meaning it's above average, it's good, but it isn't, genre leading, genre beating, genre defining. That's not to say a 70 game is a bad game. It is not. Neither is it the pinnacle, as I say, of the genre, but it can be of immense value and fun for those willing to take a punt on it. Thing is, these days, and yes, I'm considered a fossil in the game scene, but the thing really is, it has become apparent to me. If a game, regardless of platform, does not attain a high-end 80 or 90+ Metacritic score, it is illogically perceived or deemed as a failure. And as if STEVIVOR wasn't as suspect before, it has literally cemented the perception of its lack of credibility as a media outlet with this Ghostwire Tokyo review, let alone trustworthy in other reviews. So yeah, recap, media outlet STEVIVOR gives Ghostwire Tokyo a solid 9 out of 10 after giving universally agreed more superior PS5 titles ridiculously lower scores. The evidence using just a few middling to good titles, some of them great, reviewed by the outlet on PS5 and Xbox Series consoles shows you exactly where I'm going with this. So the most latest Ghostwire Tokyo scored a 9. Incidentally, it's owned by Xbox. Deathloop received an 8.5, again owned by Xbox. Gran Turismo 7, before the whole microtransaction shenanigans, they gave that a 7.5. Shredder's, an Xbox-only console title, got an 8. An 8. Horizon Forbidden West got a very poor 6.5 review score, actually scoring lower than the medium on the same site for Xbox Series, which scored a 7.5. Think about that for a second. Horizon Forbidden West scored lower than the medium. And Halo Infinite, of course, 9 out of 5. I don't know why they didn't just go the extra 5 and give it a 10. No one would have noticed. And then you got Forza Horizon 5, which did actually get 10, and they call it a masterpiece. So there are a few outliers, such as Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. It got a 9 out of 10, but honestly that's a rarity for PlayStation on the STEVIVOR site. And I've come to the conclusion that STEVIVOR just might be a parody review site in addition to a shill for Microsoft. I honestly get the impression that the STEVIVOR 9 out of 10 review score for Ghostwire Tokyo was actually for Microsoft-owned Tango Gameworks, Bethesda, and Xbox Game Studios, not for the actual game. Now, I'd love to be wrong on this, but If this is indeed the case, then that would be thoroughly disappointing, that the site could not untether its loyalty and fealty to Microsoft, instead focusing on how it benefits Microsoft and Xbox as a whole for PR's sake, instead of actually the benefits of experience very well may be a pretty damn fine product. Though what say you? Let's continue the discussion cordially in the comments. Go ahead, sound off, share your thoughts and opinions on today's news, as that brings us to the end of this video. But hit the like button, hit the notification bell, and you can help Foxy Games UK reach more gamers, so feel free to share the video. You may also want to consider supporting Foxy Games UK via Patreon. We're like family now, so thank you. And you can find a link in the video's description. But that concludes our time together on this Monday. Thanks for hanging out with me. As always, until next time, play games, not corporations.